Hello there and welcome to our look ahead to what the papers will be bringing us tomorrow. With me are Alison Little, Deputy Political Editor at the Daily Express, and The Guardian columnist, Hugh Muir. It's good to see you both. Let's have a look at some of the front pages. We're going to start with the Eye. It leads with the public inquiry into contaminated blood. The paper calls it the worst scandal in NHS history. We're going to start with the really disturbing story on the front of the Eye, Alison. Bad blood. PM orders inquiry into NHS deaths. Years and years of campaigning. And finally, the relatives of some of those who died from contaminated blood products in the 70s and 80s, they're going to get the inquiry they've been after.
Yes, and that has been widely welcomed, and there's been cross-party pressure for this inquiry, including from the Democratic Unionist Party, of course now supporting Theresa May, so I don't know how significant that was in it. In a way, yes, this was imported blood products used by given by the NHS to British haemophiliacs and other patients. Turned out a lot of it to be infected with hepatitis C and HIV. So at least 2,400 people have died, thousands more infected, families put at risk, claims of that the authorities knew about it, covered it up, and they thought that something was happening and took years before they stopped the use of these products. So we are now to have an inquiry. The victims are to be consulted on what sort of inquiry it's going to be. And arguably, it's very sad, of course, that these injustices go on so long and then take so long to get the inquiry, which, as you say, the people have been campaigning for. It's almost what Theresa May does best. She's issued another very statesmanlike statement today about it, and she's referenced back. This is of course the week of her anniversary of walking to Downing Street and promising to right injustices. And I think it's quite significant in her statement about the need for this inquiry and how the families have had to wait too long for this inquiry. She makes the point of saying, and I will seek to root out injustice wherever I find it. So she's trying all week to restate her mission.
Right. I mean, does that mean, Hugh, that we're going to get an inquiry into what happened at Orgreave?
Well, it very well could, because I think she's in a position now where she has to do the things that actually she can achieve. There isn't much that she can achieve. There wasn't very much of a legislative programme in the Queen's speech, and Brexit is moving very slowly. But things like this, she can do. This is within her power. It's within her gift, and so. You know, we already have the Grenfell inquiry. We'll have this inquiry. You may well be right that there'll be an Orgreave inquiry. But of course, these things are more complicated than they seem, as she's found with the Grenfell inquiry. Because once you decide to have an inquiry, you then have to decide, well, what kind of inquiry will it be, and how technical an inquiry will it be? I mean, in this case, to what extent will they look at just how specifically what happened as regards the screening and of these blood products, and how much will it be about what happened to people and about their experiences. There's always this tension between finding out exactly what happened and giving people some chance to tell their stories and some chance to have some element of catharsis. And so I think she's going to get into that question once again.
It does seem bizarre, though, doesn't it, that in those days the blood wasn't screened. It was sold by people to hospitals and so on. Some of those selling the products were criminals.
Yes, American prisoners
paid for their donation. It seems bizarre now, doesn't it, that it wasn't screened?
But it's about whether or not you accept other people's standards, isn't it? Because they were being obtained from elsewhere, and we just didn't know the extent to which they were screening them, and then we weren't screening them either.
Yes, and that's an interesting debate to be having now of all times, one suspects.